All right, you ready? Let's get into it. Tottenham update. First up, let's start on the manager, Igor Tudor. There's a lot of rumours flying around about him this morning, as Graham Bailey says that Tottenham are actively assessing options to replace Igor Tudor. Sammy Motwell says that Tottenham have no immediate plans to change the manager for a second time this campaign. Tom Barkley says that Igor Tudor is scheduled to take the media press conference on Monday ahead of the trip to Atletico Madrid. And Sam Wallace from The Telegraph says that Tottenham are considering their options for a second change of manager in a month after 3 defeats in Igor Tudor's first 3 matches in charge. As things stand, the club say Tudor will take the team for the Champions League game against Atletico Madrid.
Look, I called it after the Fulham game. I said, I think they might sack him, or they might look to sack him because they're not going to allow this to carry on and allow him to send us down. Now, I think they're going to give him to that Forest game, and I think that Forest game is going to be the kind of that will be his final straw. If he can't get any wins before then, I think he'll be gone. It's interesting the way they've worded it. They're considering it and they're giving him the Atletico game. Maybe if Atletico goes really badly, maybe they'll consider it as well. But we shouldn't be judged on it on the Champions League at the moment because that's just a distraction. So I don't know how much difference it makes if we win or not. But obviously we need a good performance. But it is a massive distraction, that Atletico game for our survival. But for me, it doesn't shock me how this board. I don't know if it'll be the right decision to sack him or not. If I'm being honest, I think either way, it's like choosing between 2 shit sandwiches. I don't really know what the right one to pick is.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at it, there's no right or wrong solution here. There isn't.
Yeah, there's just panic. It's just panic stations at the moment. You know, we bring in a new guy. If he doesn't win in 2 games, we're going to sack him. And, we're going to end up with, like, how many games we've got? 9. We can end up with 4 different managers if we keep going like this. Another 4. Yeah. Before we go down.
Might break Marinakis' record this season.
Might do. Wouldn't be shocked. For me, at this point, you might as well stick with it because I think we're screwed either way. But I think they'll probably panic and they'll probably get in another manager and just try and see if they can get anyone out of this. But it hasn't worked so far after 3 games. And considering what his track record is, the fact that it hasn't worked immediately is very, very concerning. We haven't improved. I don't know if he has it in him to turn this around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of people calling for it already. Doesn't surprise me. Look, if I woke up tomorrow and he was sacked, I'm not exactly going to be sitting here saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe we've done it." I don't really care. Like, do it, don't do it. We're screwed either way. It feels like I just wouldn't. If it was up to me, I probably wouldn't make that decision right now.
The Mail are reporting that former Tottenham manager and player Glenn Hoddle has offered to save Tottenham from relegation should Igor Tudor be moved on as interim boss. He did say, I can't remember on what
manager he was, right?
I can't remember. He didn't take us down. On what platform that he said that, Tottenham's his club and that's something that he would get him back into management. And he hasn't managed for even longer than Harry Redknapp.
I think these guys, Hoddle for sure, I'd get him into the club maybe as a coach or something, or assistant, or like as a voice in there. I would take that. I don't know about first team manager, but I wouldn't mind him. Just get him in as a voice in there. And because look, what I like about Glenn is he talks well and he has a good eye in terms of he's good football knowledge and he understands the game really well. And so I think he would be a good voice in there, but I don't know if I'd put him in as manager.
Yeah, it'll be quite something if Hoddle was given the managerial role from now until the end of the season, because he was actually ENIC's first ever appointment.
True. Yeah, you full circle.
Literally would have gone in full circle.
But it's mad that like the conversations we're having, like people are now not only taking like suggestions like Redknapp very seriously, they're like angry if you don't do it, where it was first suggested as a joke.
Yeah.
It was first suggested as something like, oh yeah, obviously, bring up Redknapp to see, yeah, cool, funny. Like, everyone's laughing about it.
But he's actually put his hat in the ring. He wants the job.
I understand, but now like there are people out there who are like angry if we don't install Redknapp right now. Like that's where we're at. We've gone from it's just a joke to if you don't do it, it's the wrong decision.
Well, that's what happens when you're in full-blown crisis.
Yeah, everyone's like just like
we need something.
Everywhere.
We just need something. Next up, Sammy Mokbel did a report about this potential new sporting director at Spurs, and we covered this a couple of days ago from a different journalist, but he's saying Dougie Freedman, a contender for the vacancy, as well as Paul Winstanley and also Thiago Pinto. All those three sporting directors are on the radar for Spurs. And we obviously spoke about Dougie and Winstanley a couple of days back, but Thiago Pinto is a new name, and he's obviously the sporting director at Bournemouth right now, and doing a good job. Thing about him, before Bournemouth, he was at Roma, and he's got a very good eye for talent, Thiago. He signed Dean Hyson twice, first for Roma on loan, and then for Bournemouth, and he did very well for Roma, and he's doing very well for Bournemouth right now.
Yeah, fantastic. I just find it so hard to talk about sporting directors and these things right now, but look, I understand that's what needs to happen because we need one, and we need Johan Langon, and we need someone who actually has quality in that role. I don't know if these guys will come to us to win the championship. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. They all sound great. They all sound like they could do a great job. It's just about us. What do we want? And we need to find a sporting director that fits that. But I don't know. I don't know who the right guy is. These guys all have good talents, but they do good jobs for where they're at. Not all jobs are translatable. It's hard to know. We've gone through these situations so many times, and doesn't just because you do good job for one club doesn't mean it's translatable here. Question is, who is translatable here? I guess that is I guess that's the big question. I'm sure they're all talented, and they all would do a good job, but I find it very hard to think about a sporting director at the moment.
The reality is, since ENIC have taken the helm, we've had like every single possible model imaginable. We've had the European model, we've had the English model, we've had this model, that model. Nothing ends up working.
They all either get disillusioned or
we don't give enough time.
Not enough time. We know they don't listen to them enough, and all these different things. It just keeps the same thing keeps happening. So we can talk about all these sporting directors have done. It's all well and great, but what does it mean?
And finally, Florian Plettenberg, just to stick the dagger in and twist it last night after the game, reported that Barcelona are now closely monitoring Luka Vuskovic and have added him to the shortlist for the summer. Hansi Flick appreciates him. Initial talks have already taken place. Hamburg are pushing for a second loan, but Tottenham's clear plan is to bring him back in the summer. And I swear, if this guy starts pushing for a move for Barcelona, all this excitement that we've had to see Luka Vuskovic in a Spurs shirt, we're never even going to see it.
I know. So Spurs, we have one of the best talents in world football that we'll never get to see play. And we're living in that possibility 100%. I really hope we keep him. Even if we go down, I hope we keep him. And that's the kind of decisions we have to be making, in my opinion, if we do get relegated. Like, those are the kind of players we have to trust, like really talented young players who are right at the beginning of their careers. That's the direction we're going to have to go with. We're going to have to try and build something like that.
Vuskovic is too good for the Championship now.
The guy is 19.
He's playing in the Bundesliga week in, week out.
I know, but he's our player.
I know he's our player.
We get to decide what we do with him.
We do. But I think we might be in a financial situation where if we get a big offer, we're going to have to sell him.
Depends how many other players we sell.
Yeah.
If we get enough sales without selling him, we should be all right.
What if he doesn't want to come back?
It's not up to him.
You can't hold a player against their will like that.
You can.
Like we can, but they're going to become disillusioned.
He's 19. Well, what is it, 18?
Yeah. Doesn't matter how old he is.
He ain't going to throw. He's not going to. He's not going to start playing badly at 19 because he's disillusioned of being at Tottenham.
I mean, when you've got teams like Bayern Munich and Barcelona after you, and
if you want that move, you better earn it.
And then when you got Tottenham saying, no, you're going to stay here and you're going to play in the Championship.
Correct.
Like,
if he wants to move,
his agent is going to kick up the biggest fuss.
Right. If he's forced to stay, he'll play well to get that move.
I'm not so sure, man. I don't think we're going to see him in a Spurs shirt. I really don't.
Look, you might be right. I'm just saying I would keep him.
Yeah, who wouldn't keep him? Everyone would keep him. He's an unbelievable talent. There's one thing keeping him and actually him staying.
I'm saying I'd force him to stay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
I'm saying I would force him to stay.
Yeah, well, let's see if that becomes a reality. I'm not so sure of it. But look, that is your Tottenham update. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Exactly what Carlson says. We can't keep him in the Championship. Come on, mate.
Why not?
We can't.
We can.
We can't.
So why not?
We could keep all of them then, you know what I mean? But we're not.
Vuskovic is not all of them. He's a 19-year-old kid. He's got his whole career ahead of him.
He's a 19-year-old kid.
He doesn't have
that
to move
right now on loan is playing a much higher level than what we're going to be playing at next season.
Okay, but he's our player, and he's not like he has to move now. Otherwise, when's he going to ever play at the top level? He's got his whole career for that. He's not even 20 yet. So if we want to keep him for a season,
but he's at that level though. He's at that level,
and he'll be at that level for a very, very long time.
You're talking about like one of the best young talents in world football now playing champions in the championship. That's never going to happen.
Why not?
What do you mean, why not?
Why
Because
not?
it's not going to happen. Because he's one of the biggest talents in European football right now.
So,
how is he going to
star
sink
player.
down to the championship?
He's a teenager.
Doesn't matter how old he is.
Of course it
He's
does.
good enough.
It's not like he's 25 and you can't afford to spend a year in the championship at that age. You can.
It doesn't matter whether he can afford it or not. The guy is good enough to play at a top club. Like, he's not going to play for Tottenham in the championship. He's just not.
Well, I would make him.
Let's get into a couple more super chats.